This is a public announcement. If you see an unattended ventriloquist dummy on the parade, do not approach it. I repeat, do not approach it. Remember, chase it, stun it, flush it.
Somewhere in the Ayabulu system, the School of Ninja are on a field trip. Accompanied by Hutton's own black belt in the martial arts and wearing his Girl Guide kick to the groin-proof codpiece, Rampage, along with Commander Aiden, are putting Flossy through her final practical exam. Her mission? To infiltrate a base, turn off the alarms, and then steal everything she can lay her hands on, especially the good stuff. As we watch from atop a nearby tower, we see her take careful aim with her manticore rifle and whoosh! Plop. A security guard drops to the ground. A couple more shots later, and two of the technicians have decided it's sleepy night time. Like a cat, Flossy drops from the roof, slides up to their prone forms, and rifles her pockets, obviously looking for a security guard card. Finding one, she scans the sleeping forms for good measure and makes her way like a shadow towards the security building. The security card she's obtained clearly isn't working, as she swipes it once, twice, and then throws it down in disgust before whipping out her art cutter and getting to work on the door, which promptly opens just as the panel drops to the ground with a clatter. We'd never seen a security guard beaten over the head with a still glowing art cutter chop panel before. It's a sight we won't soon forget. That backhand is a thing of wonder. We creep in, and behind Flossy as she makes her way over to the computer terminals, looking for the settlement alarms. She lines one up, slaps an e-breach on it, and suddenly, a sound comes over the PA system.
Our mics are live!
Oh, bother. That's not the settlement alarm panel.
It is alarming enough, though.
Do you think anyone noticed?
I think they're all ear blind to it these days.
Does that count as a minor fault on my test, do you think? I mean, I did everything else okay. Look, I found a scrambler, 2 transmitters and a nice piece of carbon fibre plating for my pan.
Sounds like the perfect recipe for Hutton Orbital News. Mods strikes back as radio team go down with it. We've lost the apology officer.
He's back.
One way or another, the sus nugget will make it to Colonia.
Just when you thought it was safe to go engineering.
The return of HAXWing as Tharg breaks cover.
Peace and quiet breaks out in Hutton space.
Sorry. Placeholder for image 7. Delete and replace with correct file for this week.
And it's far from quiet out there in the community at the moment.
Mods. Mug Ownership Deficiency Syndrome. One of the most perplexing medical conditions in the galaxy. It's a stealthy one, masquerading as all sorts of lurgy. It was only by chance that Nurse Wyeth of Hutton Orbital discovered that this hitherto unconnected series of symptoms appeared not to be in people who drank regularly from Hutton mugs. The conclusion, as we can rule out coincidence, is that not having a Hutton mug leaves you at the mercy of mods. And it turns out that a few of the crew have been neglecting their nightcap and stopped sipping from their Hutton-approved, Hutton-brand Hutton mugs on a regular basis. Harry Balsack has come down with a nasty case of got to look after Mrs. Balsack, taking him away from his weekly foray into the nonsense that is this radio show. Wilma Fingerdew and Amelia Hawke of the Galnet Rares Digest have both come down with a heavy dose of exploring the outdoors. It masquerades as ruddy good health, selfies, and of course contentment. But we all know that's code for a nasty dose of mods. Then there's Flossy. Flossy's tough, but even Flossy's not immune to such terrible things. After taking some time off to nurse a poorly wrong way, her stick had 2 lines on it. And we know what 2 lines mean. Yep, that's right, the Rona, which of course is also mods. Then there's me. I knew that licking that plate clean in the bar wasn't sensible. The dishwasher appears not to be very good at doing what it's supposed to, and the week-old film of Ick that was still on it from last week's show looked like fancy porcelain glaze. We know what also looks like porcelain glaze? Yep, the porcelain in cubicle 3, and that's most unsanitary. Anyway, I've also got mods. The common factor in all of these afflictions, that's right. None of us have been partaking of drinks from Hutton mugs recently due to sheer complacency. Let this be a warning to you. Keep yourself healthy. Keep yourself mods free. Earn your Hutton mug today or fall foul of space lurgy most horrid. Don't leave it too late, as all we'll say to you is, we told you so.
Now begins a special report from the old gamer and his old geezers and gals. Late one evening on board fleet carrier the Old Geezer's bar, in the bar, a young commander sat down with Commander Scratching Me Knackers, also known as the old gamer, and started to tell a little story. Some time back, Commander Susnugget, also known as Sriracha, who only recently earned his pilot's license, decided to head off to Colonia in his Sidewinder. After struggling with a very short jump distance and many days of flight time, approximately 4,000 light years, the young commander decided to upgrade his ship, first to a Cobra, which he didn't like too much, so then decided on a DBX, which he would continue his journey. This is what we was told to Commander Scratching Me Knackers. Sorry, I'll start that again. This is what was told to Commander Scratching Me Knackers on the Old Gamer's video channel. Of course, those gathered in the Old Geezer's bar, listening in on this conversation, were a little confused with the information that was given. Even Commander Scratching Me Knackers found it hard to keep the look of doubt and confusion from his face. In the end, Commander Scratching Me Knackers asked, "Hold on, if you were 4,000 light years into your journey to Colonia, how the heck did you manage to buy a Cobra and a DBX? There's nothing out there." Well, the answer provoked much laughter. Well, luckily I set off in the wrong direction, so when I turned round and headed in the right direction, I passed through inhabited space again, so I was able to buy my new ships. Commander Scratching Me Knackers could not contain himself and completely lost his composure, declaring the young pilot had to be having a laugh surely. Even saying, how do you go the wrong way? It's not like I can take a wrong turn on a roundabout, is it? Both commanders have since become good friends. However, Commander Scratching Me Knackers refuses to take any directions from a poor young Commander Susnugget.
Over in Paladin Consortium space, things are, well, a little bit iffy. Went from endless wars to winning wars endlessly. Then, suddenly, silence. No wars, no conflict, no sign of the EGU. Were they all on holiday? Is it some kind of religious observation? Was there a ceasefire and no one remembered to mention it? Whatever was happening, or actually wasn't happening, is now unhappening or continuing to not happen. As it's all happening again, just in slow motion. Gone are the days of 10% influence swings in 24 hours, and now we have a slow-mo action replay of the last few months as Nabatian and Nenmet have slowly, ever so slowly, drifted back into war. The good news is that the intervening freeze frame days have allowed many commanders to go and engineer themselves up the wazoo and are feeling tougher than an overcooked steak. The other good news is that for those who haven't achieved their elite ranking in kicking the EGU to the curb and are only a rank or so away, they very obligingly started a couple of conflicts, which should be enough to tip everyone over the edge and into elite mercenary status. Except mercenaries get paid, so we'll rename it volunteer rank.
Incoming encrypted transmission. Decrypting. Decryption complete.
Stand by for a message from HAXCOM Actual.
Okay, HAXWing. Turns out Tharg hasn't had enough and has come back for more, so let's give him some. There is new activity in the following systems: Didio, Novas, and Sosong, all in the bubble. Top priorities are to finish clearing out HIP 38225 and Paukuman, then move on to Didio. Stay up to date for system status and priority changes at Thargoid.watch. There are still no station attacks, so no search and rescue operations are currently active. All station repairs are currently up to date, so there are also no active Operation Ida delivery targets. Let's get out there and give Tharg a proper welcome. Watch each other's back, keep your eyes on the signal sources, and always stay ready to defend the mug.
HAXCOM message complete. Defend the mug.
Encrypted transmission complete.
Hasn't it been nice to have had a break from all the recent excitement? No wars, no elections, no unruly factions rocking the boat. All is calm once again, and the main display on the Hutton Master Control situation board is a sea of calming blue. 4 systems are below 40%, we've expanded into a brand new system, and our latest system has caught a dose of the space pox. More on those stories coming up. Barnard Star has been buried in yet another round of internecine warfare, with much of the system's influence tied up. With a cluster of factions wallowing close together, it looks like another round of inter-nephew warfare is about to break out. Families, eh? This leaves Hutton on 32, but there may be a brief window over the weekend in which to boost a bit of influence. Wolf 359 fell from 37 to 34 in the week, and with most of the other factions squabbling amongst themselves, this system is in danger of turning into Barnard Star 2. After 4 wars in 4 weeks, Avic emerged only to find that it was under pirate attack. Thankfully, most truckers have good experience at beating off pirates quickly, leaving the system on 37. The mega-galactic aggressor in the first of 3 of those wars, Sirius Corporation, finds itself in famine. Oh dear. What a shame, never mind. Fourth and last of the sub-40 systems is Epsilon Indy, which, with its significant population, is slowly climbing to 39 after its recent outbreak. Finally, our home system of Alpha Centauri is on exactly 40%, and with 4 factions suffering from civil unrest, 2 in famine and 2 gone bust, it isn't the happiest of systems and needs to have a watchful eye kept upon it. The newest system, Wolf 562, was settling in well, putting on 10 points, hovering nicely in mid-table, and then found itself suffering from a dose of the space pox, shipping meds to the larger pads in Hopkins Port and Berners-Lee Terminal to relieve that quickly. Operation Jump to a Dump found us expanding into the Arcadia system, but since it already has a player faction that is not a particularly silly-sounding system name, Alvin gave it the briefest of sniffs and wandered off in disinterest. At the overachieving end of the Hutton Systems table, we have 4 systems above 60%, one of which is over 70. Meanwhile, in Colonia, Grand High Admiral Chief Air Marshal Generalissimo Hankey, Grand Kazi of all the Colonia clones, sent something in very late which said something about an election in Tyr. When isn't there an election in Tyr? When interviewed by the Colonia Chronicle, Brenda from Tyr said, "What, another one?" Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, relieve the outbreak in Wolf 562 and then boost influence in Barnard Star, Wolf 359 and Avic. If you want to shoot something, go and have a chat with the Paladins.
The only definite things in this life are death, taxes, and pilots going out to do things that are brave or silly, but often both. This week we've heard from Trip Omega, Does the Sun Still Rise in the East? Explore the Core Infernal Expedition, The Lost Souls Expedition 3, and the latest adventure from the Buckyball Races. Links will, as always, be posted in Twitch chat and also in the description of the YouTube upload. Trip Omega is going swimmingly, and Commander Radium's put down his extra-large Centauri Mega Gin and Tonic to let us know that some of what they've been doing. The third phase of Titan Contractor's biggest expedition trip yet continues, having reached more than halfway with only about 2,300 light years left to go between the Solaris, our lead carrier, and Colonia. Throughout the trip, various interesting and beautiful points of interest have been seen. Since our last update, various locations have been visited, like the Caravanseral Starport in Gandharvi, the Death Spiral, a Dance of Spirals, the Jade Ghost, Gravitas, and the Clockwork Nebula. With only 2 POIs left to go as this Thursday until we reach Colonia, we're excited to reveal our deep space exploration phases, simply known as 4 and 5. More information regarding that will be coming soon. As always, to interact and follow our journey, check on our website and Discord below, and follow us on Twitter at tcon_feed. Fly safe! Some commanders are incorrigible, but this one assures us that he's definitely incorrigible, and as usual has been pointing his camera in all sorts of directions.
Does the sun still rise in the east? Week 7. Commander the Presence here again, and what a very sociable week it's been too. Apart from getting a tremendous buzz from exobiology, I've also had a real human contact, not once, but twice. The first was when I was buzzed by an Aspect while I was fossicking amongst some osseous, which made me run for cover and change into something less comfortable. It turns out the ship belonged to a fellow explorer named Creamy Goodness, and after initially a prickly meeting, no, I wasn't sitting on a cactoid, he seemed to be a nice chap and rather a good egg. He had an excellent larder and was willing to swap fresh food for turns coupling up to my Jacques Quentition, still to the waste containers on our flight suits. Alas, it was far too short a time before he had to head back to the Empire and to the Royal Achenar Golf Course, as he wouldn't believe me when I told him Denton Petraeus swings both ways. At least that's what I've heard. I was far more prepared for the next meeting with my old friend Captain Janagu, as his carrier was in the area and he said he'd love to meet up and he'd happily come to me. Next thing I know is a Type 7, not your usual Explorer craft, heading my way, but then even better, it was loaded with Gucci toys like the new Scorpion SRV. In return for a go on his cart, I taught him how to clap and turn his lights on and off, but then made the mistake of telling him he could wave at his ship too. I didn't know he was standing on it until there was the lightest of thuds through the tenuous atmosphere. On the plus side, his boots fitted a treat. Until next week, TTFN.
Middle of the galaxy, but never middle of the road. Explore the core Infernal Expedition is forensically, but never frantically, exploring the dense mass of stars and systems, and Commander Infernal Moose has news of their exciting adventures.
During the last week, we finished Leg 1 of the Explore the Core Infernal Expedition at Sagae, which provided 3 days of R&R to the expedition crew while we prepared for Leg 2. Leg 1 total distance travelled by all commanders was almost 2.7 million light years, which was almost as much as the entire galactic circumnavigation Infernal Expedition. We've also wrapped up the expedition leaderboards for Leg 1 with some extraordinary discoveries: a 149km radius body by Commander Chukat-1, a 4.25G landable body by Commander Micklin, and an 18.5 million UC sold for the carrier system found by Commander Staldorn. The leaderboards have been reset for Leg 2 and in some cases have already exceeded the Leg 1 values after less than 1 week. While we were at Sagae, there were some commanders who created a game of Thread the Needle, with 2 T10s facing each other forming the needle, and commanders attempting to fly as quickly as possible through the gap. There were impressive passes as well as spectacular explosions. Afterwards, there were more PvP battles both at the tourist beacon as well as near the carrier. At the tourist beacon, there was also some whale watching and hunting, with some unfortunate results for some tourists. After leaving Sagae, we made our way to Down Under, a spectacular location 2,800 light years below the galactic plane. Down there, almost every system was a D-mass or heavier system, with numerous neutron stars, black holes and white dwarfs. We even found systems with 10 and more stars in them. The main disk of the galaxy provided an amazing backdrop to these discoveries. Our next stop was Caerleum Luna, a bright bluish purple planetary nebula with a neutron star core. While we were there, we held a booze running event which involved Sidewinders attempting to deliver Jack's Quintinian stills to the carrier, from the carrier to a secret location on A1A, where a Type 9 was waiting, while a team of law enforcing Sidewinders equipped with 1 EFSD interdictors attempted to catch them. The booze runners won the first round, while the interdictors clinched the second one, thanks to the interdiction skills of Commander Robert Clark. The expedition will meet up with the Azura Initiative at the Great Annihilator on Friday, where we will hold a joint event. More commanders will join us there as well for some final 2 weeks of expedition. We also received some amazing news that the expedition carrier D-Scan will soon be over, has travelled to more systems than any other fleet carrier in the galaxy. We have now visited over 1,750 systems since the carrier was commissioned about 18 months ago. The closest carrier to this amount of jumps has visited about 400 systems fewer than we have. The news has unsettled some of the crew who worry more about the strange noises they hear during our jumps.
The Lost Souls Expedition 3, organised by the Fatherhood, seemed to be obsessed with death. Still, everyone have their hobby, I say. I'll let Commander Monquiqui explain.
Week 2 of the Fatherhood's Lost Souls 3 expedition successfully concluded after a visit to KY Cygni, a red supergiant and one of the top 10 largest known stars by radius, Musica Universalis, Smooju Zulu Echo-Romeo Delta 4-109, a gas giant with a colourful collection of 6 very unique moons. And finally, the planet of slightly lesser death, Blah Aeon Yankee Zulu-Golf Delta 10-0. Like the infamous Monde de la Mort, this system consists of a planet which orbits perpendicular to the core white dwarf's jet cones, close enough to pass through them at either end. The weekly meetup was planned at the planet of slightly lesser death, but was relocated to one of the many fleet carriers at the last minute due to the elevated levels of death on the planet at that time. Despite the change of plans, 25 commanders gave their lives to the dwarf sun god that weekend. Luckily, the plethora of fleet carriers meant the consequences of death were nothing more than a wee rebuy. This week, we're off to visit Bubo's star, a pulse star, the DSSA IGAU Paradox Destiny fleet carrier, and finally meeting up again at the Arset Nebula Guardian ruins. We're still close enough to the bubble to catch up. If you wish to join us, please visit our website at thefatherhoodwing.space to register and grab an invite to our Discord server.
Galaxy ship and SRV manufacturers are very grateful to the buckyball races, since without these daredevils, Oh, sorry. Wonder what the sound was. Sorry about that. The Galaxy ship and SRV manufacturers are very grateful to the buckyball racers, since without these daredevils, these I really don't care devils, there would be much smaller demand for replacements after incidents. The competition is at fever pitch as commanders remember the old adage, never fly without a change of underwear, and Alec Turner's had to remove his racing gloves, his racing helmet and his racing pigeon before he could dictate this update.
With 4 days to go before the end of Wiccan Beware Buckyball Race, there's some seriously stiff competition, with 22 racers fighting for points in Regulation Cobra class and 15 currently logged in Unlimited, including a surprising number of commanders new to Buckyball. It's the pros currently sitting in the top spots, though with Brusky holding first place in the Unlimited class with a time less than 14 minutes, and Captain MD taking pole position in Regulation class with a time less than 17 minutes. The race, which is shieldless, features a tunnel that must be flown through at minimum speed of 200 meters per second, and which has a 90-second time bonus for finishing on 1% hull, has seen significant loss of ships. Somewhat strangely, given the narrowed tunnel, there has also been a surprising number of corvettes attempting the race. Well, you know what they say. There's crazy, and then there's Buckyball.
Are you taking part in an event that you think our listener would want to know about? Email I took part at huttonorbital.com and let us know about it.
I think I've broken my voice. I'm not sure that was a good idea, having had to use anaesthetic throat spray earlier this evening. I'm a dribbling mess. Hello, good evening. It's us. We're in the bar, or at least I can see Commander Aiden in the bar. And thank you very much to Commander Chicks, to the Apology Officer, and to Flossy for propping up the studio this week. There's more space than normal in the bar. It's very spacious in here this evening. There's room. Look, there's empty seats. I can see empty seats. There we go. Look. Oh, I cannot interact too far. But yes, we are missing the Amelia again for mods reasons, and Commander Palantir for mods reasons. But somebody who's got mods but doesn't have a reason is Flossy. Good evening.
Good evening.
You've got 2 lines.
Yeah.
That's just greedy.
I know, I didn't want to. One was fine.
Well, if you live in such close proximity to plague beasts such as Robbie Wrongway,
Yeah.
then it's bound to happen, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yes. And how are you, and how is the Wrong Way?
Well, I'm not too bad. I keep having a bit of a cough and a bit headachy. Wrong Way, I think, is not too bad today. How are you? How are you today? How's your plague?
Isn't too bad actually today.
Not too bad today, he says.
Not too bad today. Well, that's...
No. But he's on day 4, I think, whereas I'm on just day 1.
Well, don't forget to use your Hutton mug. Now, obviously, just to do a little bit of plot to this evening, obviously, the Hutton mugs have all gone missing. So while we're doing the rest of the banter in a minute, I'm going to go and attempt to find them. Now, there is a rumour that there's a local anarchist faction that's stolen all of our Hutton mugs. And I've been told that if I hop on a taxi, I can actually go and find their base and maybe, if nobody else has been there first, see if I can locate the mugs and bring them back during the show. So that's this week's visual challenge for those of you watching on Twitch, which means I'm going to need to sort of ask questions of Commander Chicks while we do things. So as I catch my taxi in a second, I'm going to book a local shuttle. There's a very nice person at the desk here. Apparently I need to go, there's a million fleet carriers. Look, all these fleet carriers looking for the mugs. There's millions of them. So Commander Chicks... While I get my taxi to wherever it is I'm supposed to be going, why don't you tell us about the Frontier live stream?
Well, it was back. Was it number? I think it was number 6 today, wasn't it? So Arth and Bruce again. I think that's 3 weeks in a row. But Zach is back. But
Is that Zach Erhe?
Yeah, he's now behind the camera, and has somehow managed to displace Adam. Adam has been repurposed for some Frontier business.
Probably
Zach
racing cars.
Really? So Zach has been relegated or promoted, whichever way you look at it, to Tech Monkey. And we know what a prestigious
well, that's
role that can be.
More seams. If he's anything like me doing Tech Monkey jobs, he's probably better because he's not adding the kind of seams that I'm adding. Not unless Arf gives him... Oh, can we just go back 3 images, please?
Well, he was sharing a laptop today. I noticed Arf's laptop has broken or frozen. He took it to the IT department and said, "My laptop is frozen." And they said, "Look, mate, I don't care what film you download." Anyway, news. Today's news is there wasn't really any news. A bit like last week, so nothing to tell us about account transfers, etc. Arf went on to make a point about not shooting the messenger. Well, not really shooting content creators. They've been attracting a bit of flack recently. So he said, "Please don't be mean to the creators. They're all, doing it."
I mean, was he sort of pointing at any particular content creator?
He didn't name names. And we could all speculate.
They may have an orbital somewhere over towards Thargoid territory. Yeah, that sort of content creator. Yeah.
But the point was, don't be mean to the creators, except us, of course, because we don't really care what you say about us. You can say whatever you like to us.
And they do regularly. Yes. Oh, it's them again. Oh no. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the number one rule, and the apology officer knows the number one rule, don't you? There is one unbreakable Hutton rule, isn't there?
When they switch the microphone on, there will be.
I was typing. I think I might have just broken that rule, actually.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I might have broken that rule in the Twitch chat.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we've all to be excellent to each other.
Yes.
Or else.
Not your old bumheads.
Yes.
if you're not excellent to each other, then that happens, and that hurts. Okay, so just don't.
You have to go and sit in the airlock 3 with the rest of the bubble.
Yeah, we put you in a taxi with who's driving. I don't know the name of this person who's driving me. By the way, I forgot to catch her name. It's usually a young lady that flies me to Arise Mine when I did have a practice run at this one.
That sounded very much like you'll never guess who's in the front of my cab.
I think we need to Commander Brucelov's come up with
a
new rule, which I think we need to add is don't pee in the mug.
Well, you have to be excellent to your mug as well.
Yeah, don't pee in it.
Yeah, do not smash the handle off your mug, Flossy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll end up catching mods.
I've got 4 or 5 different mugs. All
to be fair, she was trying to beat a guard into unconsciousness with it at the time.
Or one of those Guardian skimmers, just lobbing it out the top of a SRV at him. Okay, so we have to be lovely content creators. There are, we might disagree with some of them. We often do, but we will fight for their right to have an opinion.
Yeah, we will fight.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we'll exercise our right to make fun out of it.
To take exception with the opinion, yes. But we do it politely.
Yes.
Yes.
What we're saying is we'll fight with anybody, so just watch yourself.
Right.
You bumheads.
So, Twitch drops.
Yeah, more Twitch drops. I kind of lost interest with Twitch drops after about 4 minutes because my 97% spaffed up whatever the last one was from last week. So there was purple stuff and there was spring stuff. Is it still the DBX? Or is
yes.
It? Right,
yeah, it's this month.
Okay, I got those in there almost before they came on stream. So you've still got time. Where are we? The 21st of the month. So there'll be another live stream next Thursday, 4 p.m. UK time. What are we on? We're on summertime now, aren't we? So
yeah.
You've got one chance left to pick up any of the Twitch drops you didn't get. They did Galnet.
Galnet stuff? No, we've got Galnet stuff coming up in a bit.
Exactly.
No spoilers.
We have our own folks to tell you about that, so we don't have to. And the Galnet people, Eric and Ernie,
Chip and Dale. No.
Chip and Dale, yes. Flanagan and Allen, they got a shout out too.
The Pete and Doug.
Sid and Eddie. That's little and large for everybody born after 1980.
What was the Gary Hogan this week?
Oh, Gary Hogan unfortunately missed the deadline. There was a deadline of lunchtime today because the collector of all community things, Commander Palantir, was off caring for Mrs. Palantir and therefore told everybody, if you don't get it in by 1 o'clock, it's not going in, and Gary Hogan missed the boat.
I went to school with him.
Did you? I thought that was Barry Logan.
No, he once ate a whole kilogram of flumps and then threw them all back up in the middle of English class.
Right, now, just before we move on to the next little bit of that bit...
I like that one, it's just, right, no.
Yep, let's move along. Now, I am disembarking at this location because I believe there ought to be mugs. Now, unfortunately, it looks like, unfortunately, another commander may have beaten me here, which is very rude, which means I may have to go out and back in again because I won't be able to do what I was expecting to do, the rotters.
Were you told this by some dodgy-looking bloke in one of the fleet carrier station corridors?
I was told. Now, unfortunately, it does look like if another commander's got here, then they may have spoilt the hunt for the mugs, so... we shall see if somebody's already done the necessaries, and if necessary, I'll disappear back off again during the show. I'm hoping nobody's spoilt it. So while I'm hunting down this commander with my rifle,
we'll do some padding.
We'll do some padding. Community calendar. It's getting fuller. I mean, more full.
It is. There's more stuff going on there, but we don't really talk about the community calendar because we have a Flossy, so you don't have to.
It looks like, unfortunately, the Dead Meat GF has spoilt the live stream. So I'm going to be catching a taxi back. It's taxi cab. Yep. I will go out and back in again. Commander Dead Meat. Grr. You naughty step. Here we go. Yeah.
While you're doing that, you can put up the picture that's there in the script because it relates to the next part of the live stream.
Ooh, I can do. Let me just let me hop on the taxi, then I'll put the picture up while I'm catching the taxi. Taxi, where's my taxi?
Sure, that'd be.
Did I even call for a
nicer
taxi?
to look at than your taxi van?
Well, I did. Yeah, the thing is, I can't remember actually clicking. Oh, the OK button. I've got to click the OK button to get the taxi.
And
Maybe if I wave at his. Commander Aiden's there. Yep.
Is that? Oh, he's in the chat as well. Excellent.
Yep. Oh, Aiden was in the bar, but it looks like Dead Meat jumped the gun. He went off prematurely, and he's now going to be sent. Oh, it's 200 meters away. I can get on here. No, I'm catching my taxi. It's okay, Commander Aiden. There's my taxi. Right, when I got on the taxi, I'll switch the little picture. So stellar screenshots, but not the one we're talking. Yeah, we've got two to. Well, one of our own to pop up, but they as usual review. Crikey, this is a long run. I really wish I'd taken some exercise. Right.
Nothing like a sweaty flight suit. Yeah, stellar screenshots. So usually Paul Crowther picks out a very good crop, and amongst them this week was one of our own.
One of our own. Well, I've not got enough digits and hands free for a second. I looked at Hugo Hyde has come to pick me back up again.
Is it the same guy as last time?
Here we go, and I have no idea, but let's. I'm back on there, so let me. While I'm on my taxi ride, let's switch that off. And what are we going to switch on? We're going to switch on the next screen. Here we go. One of our own. Dun dun dun. It's the Happy Moon Monkey.
Got a stellar screenshot shown. So well done to
a stellar screenshot, I might say. It's
and not only that, is it? Oh, there it is. Can you see what he's wearing?
Oh, it's the retro.
It is. I can't make out. Is it a blue one or a red one? I can't quite see.
The retro suit is fancy. It does look.
It is. I have to say, applause to
whoever did that.
Whoever came up with the idea of going retro like that, and applause to whoever did the work, because it is proper Lost in Space special.
Is it then just your normal suit with arms and legs and a chest pack and a belt on it? Is that how it works?
It is, yeah. You apply it that way, but it looks like a completely new suit. So
yeah, I mean, how the way they've done these skins, and they fit over your commander.
So he's wearing that's the Dominator suit. What's the one with the camera on the left shoulder? Is that?
He's got a camera on his shoulder there.
Oh, is that the Maverick's got the camera?
Is that an Artemis? Is that an Artemis?
I thought they all did.
Did they all?
Maybe not. I think so.
Yeah, I spent some because I never remember I have arcs, so which was it? It was 16,000 arcs, wasn't it? Which is that a lot?
It's about a tenner, isn't it? I think.
I don't know, but
4 weeks at max.
I keep picking up arcs and never spending it. So I spent it, and it looks marvellous.
They do, and they come in 3 accents.
You only get 400 in a week.
Well, I tell you what, I did have a submission came in.
Yeah, it's more.
From one of the outfitting companies. And I didn't have time to record it, so I've got a piece of script, but I may have to do this one live.
I said it's an Artemis.
My brain's fuzzy.
All right.
Well, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go, see if my voice can hold out and the accent doesn't drift too badly. But have you got anchoring for all things retro? Get yourself down to Eddie Lee Wise and Sons, plus my daughters over at Lave Station, with all the latest, oldest retro clothing for your next expedition out into unknown. Do you wish you were on set of Lost in Space? Do you keep dubious company, like my wife Barb's and my husband Ken, or know anyone named Smith? Does your robot have waving arms and a tendency to warn you about danger at every turn? Our newest flight suits, accented with 3 lovely colours to suit your nail varnish, are available from fitting now. Our newest flight suits. What's that, sir? Do we do ray guns? No, sir. But we do have a voice box that says ack, ack, ack a lot. And new for 3308, realistic space string to make your ship look like it's wobbling around space like a dodgy knockoff model. Eddie Lee Wise and Sons, plus me daughters, outfitters to only the very best Saturday morning sci-fi shows.
Dad, can I have me flight suit in pink?
Danger! Apology, officer. There we go. Right, well, I've managed to turn the... No, I did a sneaky, you see. I got on my taxi, I turned my taxi round and switched to solo and went back again. And in solo, no one can hear you curse Dead Meat GF. But before we do that, we saw the best cartoon we've ever... Talking of retro and cartoons and Saturday mornings, the best cartoon we have ever seen this week. The Little SRV. The Little SRV cartoon, which is coming up on screen now, made I chuckle, this did. I have to say, it was an exceptional piece of work. The commander behind it has actually done a whole series of these, but this one is dedicated to Hutton Orbital, with a little SRV saying, now where is Hutton Orbital? And look up at the sky, there's a wibble wibble. And says, that's not it. And then looks up at another patch of sky and sees Phoebe Phoebe. And says, also not there. And then looks up at the sky and sees a giant for the mug! Oh, there it is. Anyway, yes, Commander Dazjav. Thank you very much indeed for that little cartoon. It was very sweet. We did like it. You have sent us a high-res version. We may well be printing one and sticking it on a mug or a T-shirt or something and turning up at LaveCon with it, because we think that's an excellent little cartoon. It's very Hutton. It's very appropriate, and we love the little SRV. If you are interested in seeing more of these little cartoon strips from Commander Dazjav, it's CMDR _ Dazjav or at CDazjav, CDASJAV on Twitter, and you'll find a whole pile of these little sketches. The little SRV tripping over rocks, the little SRV going up mountains, all sorts of things, and we think they are excellent, excellent little cartoons. Anyway, well, thank you very much for that one. I am now going to attempt to do the thing. So what else has been happening this week? So just in those updates, there were lots of people asking about Update 12, which is one more than...
The one we have.
11, yes. And there was lots of news about Update 12, wasn't there?
No.
Yeah, there was. There were tons of it.
There was no news.
There you go. News. There is no news.
There was no news yet. But they do understand our eagerness and frustration.
What's in? What about Update 13?
13. Oh well, that's. I think they skipped 13. A bit like floors of buildings and things. Yeah.
Or 13A.
I think 13 is going to blow up halfway there, and we're going to have to rescue it and bring it back.
Oh, is it another one of these Hollywood rescue missions where they spend billions on?
That's Update 13.
Yeah. Right now, I've climbed to the top of a building. And you see, I want to go in here. This command building here, we've got to turn these alarms off, but there are some security guys about, and I was having a look, because unfortunately, because I was late to the party, he's an awful lot further around than he was expected to be, and there's nobody on the bridge there, and my usual routine is now completely ruined, which means I'm just, sleepy night time for him, and... let's just hope nobody spots him before I can spot the rest of the security guards. Otherwise, I'm in deep trouble. Oh, no, there's one down there. There's one down there. Sleepy night time for you as well. There you go. Antonio's gone to sleep. And, right, so what else is going on in community news and bits and bobs while I'm just trying to find the mugs? This person hasn't got a mug, but they're about to get... oops. No, I may have just spoiled things. No, the alarm's going to go off, and it's all going to go to pot now.
Somebody's made a note here about an application. I think it's a job application. I think it's a computer application. ED Odyssey Materials Helper.
Oh, absolutely.
OMG, so good.
That one is quite the... I think I'm in rather big trouble now. Because...
Oh!
Yes, see, I've done this 100 times recently. And the one time I'm doing it live on the radio show, I'm going to have to... yes, big trouble. But anyway, somebody talk, because I've never failed this one before.
Yes, this Odyssey Materials Hamper is really good. I spent a fair bit of time yesterday setting mine up with all the things I need, etc., and sorting out the...
Right, so the material helper.
Do we
I
have a
really
link,
fluffed
or-
this one up, didn't I? Let's go and get a taxi, shall we?
Where do people go and look for this here, Materials Helper?
Where? On the internet. No, help, I'm running. No,
I've back of the sofa?
more seams. You know, I've practiced this 100 times. More seams than a Hutton Orbital Radio show in this Hutton Orbital Radio show this week. Anyway, I'm trying to pop it open. Where's it gone, the thing? The ED Odyssey Materials Helper. No, I'm in big trouble. Somebody cover for me while I'm dying. I'm dying on my feet here. Have I lost you all?
Is it the one
No,
by
no.
Jixt Hub? Is that the one?
It's on GitHub. isn't
Yeah,
it?
I found it. Okay,
That's the one.
Yeah.
I'll just copy this into the Twitch chat there. So if you're interested in the Odyssey, I see the screenshot of it. It looks pretty good. It reminds me of ED Engineer.
It's come out as
It does.
stars.
And so it's a little tool that when you're not dying horribly like me here, there's a grenade coming. Oops, that's a bad thing. When you're not dying horribly trying to rescue the mug, then you can fire this thing up and it watches your journal to tell you about the things you're picking up. No, I'm not dead yet. Look, this skimmer is beginning to annoy me now.
You've almost got red on you.
I've got red on me, a lot of red on me. The skimmer's being a pain in the backside. Anyway, so yeah, it tracks your materials as you pick them up and tells you which ones you need, which ones are irrelevant and you can sell, and it tells you all your blueprints and things that you're trying to get.
Does it Flossy? Does it automatically detect what you have, and do you have to put them all in like you did?
Does it? It detects them. In fact, if you pick up something which is irrelevant, it bleeps at you.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, you don't need.
Yeah, I know
Oh,
what irrelevant means.
Well, I mean, you're not. Well, it's just wondered when he says irrelevant.
Okay.
I thought, oh,
So
I didn't know
then,
what-
presumably, it knows what you have, and you tell it the engineering mods you want to make.
yeah,
So that sounds good.
works out what you need and what
I did
you've
like
got.
ED Engineer, but it was a bit of a pain to set up it, especially.
But do you know that the link you posted has come out as stars?
Does he put stars everywhere?
It's star.
Oh. I don't know why that is. Anyway.
Something about Twitch. Probably.
Oh well, we'll find the link. But if you search for ED Odyssey Materials Helper, it is probably one of the best little applications I've come across in an awful long time. It is beautifully designed, and the interface is great. It makes little whoop noises. I mean, Flossy, you were getting concerned by the little whoop noises, weren't you?
Was, yeah.
Occasionally.
Is that when you pick something up, or is that when you've finished picking everything up for the mod you
But
need?
as you pick up one thing, if it's not needed, it bleeps at you.
Yeah.
What if it is needed?
Well, you can make it. You can customize it to make
Right.
it
Oh, I see,
different
yeah.
beeps
Okay.
as well.
Oh, I
should
didn't
you
know
need?
that.
When I'm back in the bubble, I might look that one up.
But it's a jolly handy thing. And hang on a second, I've just managed to, this guy's got the mugs. I'm sure he's got the mugs. Here he is. Have you got my mug? No, he hasn't got my mug. No, he hasn't. Let's go and scan him, see if we can go and find the mugs in the security system. I'm doing okay. I'm not dead, which is a good start. Oh, there's another guy here. Right. So what else have we got going on this evening in the show? Because I might need a break just to escape and survive.
Coming up, we've got some Flossy to tell us about the CG. Is that?
Get Galnet news.
We've got Eric and Ernie. We've got the
Ronnie and Ronnie.
Ronnie and O'Sullivan. Yes.
the management.
Corbett and Barker.
We got the Hutton Helper results a little bit later on,
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
and
You can't have everything, can
we
you?
have no Amelia this week, so we
No
don't
Amelia this
have
week,
a
yeah.
Galnet Raz digest.
Okay.
Yeah, so
well, I've
If
broken
we
in.
whiz through that, David will be.
Yeah, no,
probably
I'm not
being-
dead. I've broken in. I've turned all the alarms off, and I'm about to check the cupboard to see if they've got my Hutton mug. And the answer is no.
No.
They've got some
Wrong
graphene.
face.
That's it. That's
Can you make
just
can you make a Hutton mug out of graphene? I suppose you could, but
Technically, you
it
could,
wouldn't work
yeah.
properly, would it?
I don't know. I suppose a graphene Hutton mug.
What's that? That looks like a mug container.
There's no mugs upstairs either. Hang on a second. Let's turn
Is it
those
really
off.
worth all those corpses? That little
Well,
roll of graphene?
there's no mug up here, and look, they're not going to shoot things. And
Can anybody hear that snuffling noise? Is it Flossy sniffling into your hanky, or is it? It sounds a bit like the noise that a certain nocturnal ant-eating critter might make, and begins with an A and then there's another A.
Anteater.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's an A followed by another A.
Well, anteater is an A followed by another A. It's just a lot further down.
Yeah, but 2 A's in a row, I mean.
Oh, it's... Oh,
like an aardwolf.
Oh, yep. An aardotter.
I don't think they're real.
Ooh. Could it mean the other thing?
You mean like an aardvark?
That's the one. That's the one.
Aardvark. Aardvark.
So, that word must mean that it's time to bang on the window of the quarantine airlock and tell Flossy that it's time for her to tell us all about this week's CGs.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, it's Flossy here with what might be the shortest CG news ever. Well, the shortest CG news this week at least. Last week's CG finished at 1300 UTC today, later than usual, unfortunately just short of tier 3 with 38,913,651 units collected. Therefore only 2 new starports will be built. New CGs. There was a CG planned, but following its premature publication last week, there were concerns raised, so it was put on hold while the dev team investigate the issues highlighted. And that's it for this week's CG news.
Flossy told you what to do.
Well, thank you, Flossy. That was quick. I wonder if it was enough to keep PBSF Ghost happy, though. Now for tricks with paper bags, invisible balls, national health classes, short fat hairy legs, won't say whose those are, and knobbly knees. It's the Eric and Ernie of Hutton Radio bringing us sunshine. It's Beetle Spoon and Wotherjude.
Galnet News Digest, 21st of April 3308. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Calico Zack denies he's running for the federal presidency. Salvation gets a helping hand from the superpowers, and Lee Young-ri attempts to make Syria seem all warm and cuddly.
He was allegedly the pirate king, Calico Zack. Already absurdly wealthy, he won the Federal Grand Lottery. He paid for the first shipyards in Colonia. He funded the Durodrive and created the restaurant at the top of the galaxy, Rackham's Peak. His organisation, Rackham Capital Investments, was nearly taken over by a rival pirate gang. He is a mover and a shaker in federal society. And now, Zachary Rackham has ruled out running for president against his namesake, Zachary Hudson, in the federal elections next year. Joking about the Hudson contravention, which could see Hudson standing for a third term, Rackham modestly suggested that if he did choose to stand, and of course nothing could be further from his mind, he might get some votes from confused voters selecting the wrong Zachary. There's no doubt that Rackham famous for his dodgy financial dealings, his inventive use of social media, and his "you're fired" catchphrase would be popular among Republican voters. And were he to stand, which of course he will not, it might shake up the two-horse race between Hudson and his Liberal Party opponent Felicia Winters. Asked to choose between a businessman like Hudson and a left-wing do-gooder like Winters, the voters are likely to stick with the president they're used to. But given the choice to elect someone they recognise from Hollywood broadcasts, someone from outside politics, someone who can shake up Olympus Village, drain the political swamp and lock up his opponents, the voters might just decide that Hudson's had long enough as president and switch to Rackham, who is very definitely not standing as a candidate. Not Rackham, nope.
Specialists from the three superpowers are reported to be working on secretive scientist Salvation's anti-Xeno superweapon, as the powers continue unofficially to second military crew members to Taurus mining ventures. In addition to weapons technicians, the Alliance, Empire and Federation have allowed volunteers with specialisms in intelligence, logistics and security to work for Salvation, and many of the crew members on Taurus mining ventures megaships come from the superpowers' navies. With Aegis barely functional following the loss of the Alexandria and the withdrawal of funding, many of those who volunteer to work for Salvation have done so because they believe that only Salvation can prevent the Thargoids from obliterating humanity. Despite only 2 star systems, HIP 38225 and Paukuman, still suffering from Thargoid incursions, as a number of groups of independent pilots continue to work to eliminate such invasions. The passivity of the superpowers in allowing the unknown Salvation to take the lead on anti-Thargoid warfare is a concern. Meanwhile, it's been confirmed by the Empirical magazine that there is nothing special about the ores in Sinuef CE-R C21-6. Taurus Mining Ventures had claimed that these ores contained a special form of radiation that made them uniquely valuable. The Empirical concludes that they're perfectly ordinary ores, not worth anything like the price Taurus Mining Ventures paid. Some believe that the exercise was a cover-up for the secretive collection of Guardian relics in a nearby system. Salvation's superweapons are believed to use Guardian technology, and there's strong circumstantial evidence that a new weapon is being prepared.
Dr. Lee Yong-ri, the CEO of Sirius Corporation, has invoked the proud history of the Sirius Corporation in an attempt to assuage the fears of Alliance citizens who are subject to protection from Thargoids by the corporation. But is the history of Sirius really as impressive as he claims? Dr. Lee described to his Alliance audience how Sirius's neutrality in the Battle of Achenar allowed it to mediate peace between the young Empire and the Federation. He described how Sirius had offered Marlinist refugees a place to establish colonies, diffusing the tension that had been building up between the Empire and the Federation over these refugees. He described how Sirius had hosted the Galactic Summit, conveniently omitting that Simguru Pranav Antal had made an earlier offer to host the event, and he invoked Sirius's greatest invention, the frameshift drive, to illustrate how trustworthy is Sirius. Dr. Lee did not describe Sirius's long-standing practice of coercing independent systems to buy Sirius technology, often at gunpoint. He didn't mention the tactics used to try to persuade engineer Ramtar to release his hybrid Guardian technology blueprints. Tactics that involved intimidation, break-ins and criminal damage to Ramtar's Phoenix base. He did not mention Sirius's alleged connection with the distribution of recreational onion head gamma strain, or the way the corporation has used its close ties with the Kumo Council and with the Alliance to expand its influence much more widely around the galaxy. Dr. Lee did not describe how it was reportedly the Alliance that reverse-engineered Thargoid technology to make the frameshift drive possible. with Sirius an undeserving benefactor. The fourth superpower, as Sirius has been called by its detractors, is not the largest megacorporation, but it wields by far the most influence, with its economic and military might. It is an unprincipled and dangerous force, very nearly as powerful as the Alliance. Some might even say that the Sirius Corporation has kept Prime Minister Mahan in power for their own purposes. Dr. Lee said he understood the concerns of some Alliance citizens, and he hoped history would judge Sirius's honest attempts with the Alliance to defend and preserve humanity. History may well judge Sirius, and history may not find it quite as innocent and wholesome as Dr. Lee would like.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.
Just in case.
Thank you, Commanders Beetlejude and Wotherspoon. They never fail to disappoint, do they? Apart from no outtakes this week. However, it's now time to hear whose this week's overachievers might be. It's mere Harkness to give us this week's Hutton Helper results.
Welcome to the Hutton Helper results. The Hutton Helper results are sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with models of all your previous ships for your fleet carrier ready room. This week we have the following events: the final Frontier Shield, the 10 tons of Tribbles No 20, No 50 Cup Winners' Cup, the 5-year mission to gather engineering mats challenge, the Klingons, thousands of them, Deja Vu trophy, the Kobayashi Maru This Is Not a Drill survival challenge, and the Shuttle to the Planet of Lightning Storms and Volcanoes, What Could Possibly Go Wrong extravaganza. So, may you be forced to live long and prosper, 5 Quatloos on the newcomer, and double points if you can do that thing with your fingers. No, not that. This week's Hutton Helper results are: Cometborn covered 63,000 light years in distance travelled. Guardian Goid sold 38,000 tons of stuff. Top mission runner is Montgomery Python, who managed to record a score of 356 mission points. Alex Zuno handed in 1,555,555,551 credits worth of bounties. Zebadian handed in 2,493,760,000 credits of combat bonds, and Afro-Thaws delivered 995 passengers somewhere, hopefully somewhere they wanted to go. Anyway, decals there for Guardian Goid. Please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of some bars of latinum, a Learpa, and a quart bottle of Saurian brandy. Or Buckfast, it's just whatever we have in stock. There have been 3 Hutton runs this week. First was me with a time of 1 hour 25 minutes and 22 seconds, which puts me in 260th place. Then there was Tao Z, who made the run in 1 hour 25 minutes and 36 seconds to land in 277th place overall. Bringing up the rear is Mruk, who may or may not be a Klingon, and touched down after 1 hour 25 minutes and 56 seconds for 289th place. So, there's a whole galaxy of stuff out there needing shipped, shot, rescued, looted, repaired, destroyed, bought and sold, and you can earn yourself a very fetching Hutton decal for doing it. How, you ask? Well, I'll tell you how. Just go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the delicious new Hutton Helper, available in 3 mellifluous sound flavours. Let's face it, Anything has to be better than being sent to Rura Pente for not paying your parking tickets. Anyway, that's it for this week. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Mayor, for the Hutton Helper results. See, someone listened last week and delivered more passengers than last week to get the top spot. Now, for the second week in a row, we bring you no Galnet Race Digest. But we have it on reasonably definite authority that there's a mild possibility that Amelia Hawke will probably be back next week. Maybe.
And thank you very much. Well, I've made it safely back to the bar while all that was going on. Ah, dear. And the barman... no, she's ignoring me. I want a drink. Apparently there are no Hutton mugs. We did have a message in from Commander Deadmeat GF. The reason there were no Hutton mugs there is because he broke in and stole them all, which was what he was doing before I landed. Anyway, I do have one picture to share with everybody because I got in the taxi. I thought, I know what, I'll go to the camera as proof that I got in the taxi and all was good. And the taxi driver, I started telling her about what was going on and she pulled this face at me. Yes, she rolled her eyes and looked as if I was something she scraped off the bottom of her boot because I failed utterly. So thank you very much, Miss Taxi Driver. Other than that, what else do we have for the end of the show? Well, we're back next week. I won't be back next week, which is probably a good thing given all the themes I've added to this week's show. I'm going to be over in Bristol somewhere, I think. So Commander Palantir will be back and on the decks. Flossy, you should be back to one line from 2 lines next week.
I hope so, yes.
It's like there's a song in there, somebody's like, 2 lines on a test. We'll have to work on that.
Do you know what? If you come up with that a year ago, it would have been perfect timing.
Yes, it's a bit like the download to my phone said, now it'll recognise your face wearing a mask. Where were you 2 years ago?
Yes.
Been for that for ages.
You can still wear one. So yeah, and then Amelia says that Amelia is probably going to be back next week. Work dependent though, having taken time off to take selfies wandering around the countryside. There may or may not be too much work for Amelia to do. So we shall see whether Amelia is back. Apology officer, you'll be back?
Yeah, I have nowhere else to go.
And how did you get 200 millionth place or whatever? I mean, was that in a taxi? Or are you actually slower than the taxi?
No, I wasn't 200 millionth place. I was 260th or 277th or something.
260th. 277 was Towsy, 1 hour 25 minutes
right,
and 36 seconds.
Yeah, 260th place. That's a minute 25 and 22 seconds.
Yeah, is that slower than the taxi?
I don't know. I've never been in a taxi. I can't afford one.
They don't have them on Xbox.
They don't have them on Xbox, but yeah. So yeah, it's not bad though.
That's not bad at all. I mean, I'd imagine there'll be loads and loads and loads of runs that have pushed me down. I used to be fairly high in the table, but
your fastest score will still be recorded. I just work out whereabouts they come each week, but yeah.
So I'm still 30th.
Unless people have been pushing you down by going.
No, 30th, 1 hour 23 minutes 25 seconds, January the 16th, 2020.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying though? You have to get a good score. You have to be under 1 minute 24 to be in the reasonably.
Yeah, I mean Amelia's faster than me. Deadmeat's faster than me.
Yeah, I remember when Amelia was faster than you and she was waiting to see if you'd noticed.
So
Intarius Fusion is faster than me, but I think he rigged it.
LCU is the LCU No Food Line 1 and Dr. Pismo are both on 1 hour 24.
Hardy has held that.
Yes.
A year and a bit. Hardy's had the record of 1 hour 22 minutes and 20 seconds.
January 23rd, 2021. Or 33.
Now, I remember. Do you remember when Rampage is now number 6, but he was number 1 for quite a while?
Yeah, and
It
then
took a lot to
Overlight
beat
and
him.
Riverboat. Riverboat was number one for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah. But Lithobreaker, I think it was Lithobreaker that beat Rampage, wasn't it? And then...
No. No. Brett Riverboat was a week... Oh, no, it's a different year. So, yes, you're right. You're right.
But then, I'm looking at... Let's have a look.
Yeah, Lithobreaker did 1 hour 22:32 on January the 23rd. Hardy did 1:22:20 on January the 23rd.
I'm just looking at Socrates Ectoplasm, who is in third place but was never first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Socrates.
Yeah, Socrates. Socrates.
Socrates. Yeah, there's quite a few people on that day. There must have been quite a few people doing the runs on that day, because Litho was on the 23rd.
Well, I think there was a Hutton mug put up, wasn't there, to beat Hardy's time? Because Hardy's original first.
I think there's still a mug on offer, if I remember right, for beating Hardy's time.
Well, there is, but Brett Riverboat, I think, beat his time. Was it Overlight? Because there was a tussle.
There was,
yes. And then Hardy beat her own
overtook
time.
Again. Yeah.
But there is still a Hutton mug on offer for anybody that can beat Hardy's time of 1 hour 22 minutes and 20 seconds.
The only guaranteed mug.
Is the only guaranteed way to win one without fail the second you achieve it.
Yes.
Yep. So, if you really want a Hutton mug, you can go and try and beat Hardy's time. You can't do it in a fleet carrier. You have to do it from jumping in a ship to docking in a ship, as logged by the Hutton Run leaderboard by the Hutton Helper.
Yes.
Yes.
And recommendations are that you take a small ship so that you've got a choice of 2 pads rather than just the one for medium. It's less likely to be in use by Red Planet Taxi Services with their hauler. They also recommend, I think that the recommended way as well is to do it with a wingmate.
Yeah.
So you can use your navlock and drop out next to your wingmate and have a really fast ship, but not so fast that you smash into the station before you can get docking permission.
And the other thing was to see which side of the jump star Hutton Orbital is on at the time, and then jump in from a system on the same side, so you don't have to go round.
If you have to pull a loop before you can even accelerate, that's bad. So you want one where Hutton is just off to one side of the star.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I remember Hardy posting that. It was how to beat my time. It was very, very generous of them.
Yeah.
Well, Hutton mugs for anybody who can achieve it. So, other than that and all the seams in the show, I think we've just about got to the end of this week's broadcast. A little bit thin because we didn't have our rares and we didn't have Palantir and bits and bobs, and no CGs. It all coincided and conspired this week. However, that means we get an early bedtime, or at least some of you do.
Yay!
I've got to get the scissors and the sticky glue out to try and stick the show back together again. So, we are coming towards the end. Let me just check. Do you see the button?
Oh, the thing with remind you that you've got to record the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that bit where at the start of the show.
Remember to start recording the show.
Yeah, don't whatever you do, forget to hit the record button. That would be
otherwise we
very
have to
bad.
go back to the top of the script and everybody has to sit for another hour.
We'd have to start again for the scratch, right for the start. Mind you, I might actually come in on my cue that time.
Oh, you even have your microphone switched on.
Yeah, it's switched on. It was muted.
Microphones switched on. We've been broadcasting silence this entire time.
Well, I have.
Oh, well, that's not very handy. So, other than that, there will be another broadcast by Lave Radio on Tuesday. There'll be another broadcast by the Pilots Federation on Thursday, starting at 4 o'clock. The last one of the month for all of those who are wanting their purple. You know what I mean? Yes. The purple.
Yes.
The Twitch colour. Twitch drops.
Yeah. Twitch drops.
Twitch drop. That's the one.
Oh man.
Yep.
The lemon drops only purpler.
Much better than YouTube drops.
Or cough drops, which Flossy might need.
I might do.
I'm just trying to find a thing. Oh, here we go. I'm trying to find a thing.
Okay.
I've got the thing, so we're good. I nearly lost a button. I found the button now. So, would anybody else like to fill in for Amelia this week?
I don't think we have to. She's not pre-recorded.
Pardon?
Is she not pre-recorded?
Yeah, but it's not Palantir, is it?
No, it's not
right.
the same.
Chicks and Helen, headphones off, please.
Okay.
And 3, 2, 1. For the mug!
Mug!
Mug.
Mug! Mug!
For that mug.
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. To go cruising to Hutton, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug. Sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's
the end of the show.
Everyone's buggered off. Why
don't
you
you
bugger off too?